we go to yet another conspiracy theory, and this is on the czars. And Glenn Beck, again, was the person who came up with this in the first place. Fox News has been pushing it ad nauseum. And it would be one thing if the lunatic right-wing base and the Fox News guys were the only ones pushing it. But now it's not just that. We also have actual Republican congressmen. And not just a couple of Republican congressmen. 100 Republican congressmen have signed on to Jack Kingston's bill that says, you know what, we need to rein in the czars. In fact, it is called the Czar Act, ironically, and it's short for Czar Accountability and Reform Act of 2009. Ben, let's have a little bit of fun. Czar, C, Accountability, A, and Reform Act, R-A.
So it's C-A-R-A. Czar.
Oh, but you know what? A is Act, so let's leave that out.
So Czar.
C-A-R Act. Car Act.
It's the Car Act. Yeah.
That's right. But instead they're calling it the Czar Act.
Yeah.
Okay, not good with spelling. Okay, that's not the strength of the conservatives in this day and age, apparently, but they're following the lead of Glenn Beck, which makes perfect sense. Wait till they try to spell oligarchy. All right, anyway, so they put together this bill. Now, one of the guys who tweeted about it is Karl Rove.
Jack Kingston's supposed to be one of the likable Republicans.
That's a good one. According to the mainstream media, that's what Ben is referring to, right?
Like he's likable, he's kind of funny, he's affable, he's good on TV.
Yeah, and he goes on Bill Maher's program every once in a while.
Yeah, he's a good sport.
Right. So Rove says, the czars at Copy Chaser.
What?
I know. It's some tweet thing, right? He's referring to, I think...
just read the thing. Don't give us the
All right.
Throw everybody off.
Darned if I can figure out all the czars except a giant expansion of presidential power. So meaning... That's come on.
Rich.
Come on. Okay. So he's worried about an expansion of presidential power. But now it gets a little funnier because... Karl Rove, in the second term of Bush, was informally known as the domestic policy czar. Okay, of course. Now, they're going to ask Darrell Issa, on Fox, actually, funny enough, and he's one of the Republican congressmen here that's pushing this.
San Diego.
And they're going to ask him about this because they're going to say, hey, look, wait a minute now. Didn't Republicans also have czars under their administration?
Of course. I think the first one was under a Republican.
It was. It was under Nixon. So first, let's watch
Nixon. I would have thought drug czar Reagan. No?
No, it's Nixon. I'm going to get to that in a second. So let's go to clip number 12 first and watch Darrell Issa's reaction because I'm amused by it.
President Bush had 13 czars, I believe, over 8 years. That's the number we have. Did you object then?
No, we didn't.
That's it. No, we didn't. Did you object when President Nixon came up with the first czar? No. How about when Ronald Reagan in 1982 came up with the drug czar, probably the best known czar? No.
No.
How about when George W. Bush had 13 different czars? Still, I'm going with no.
Right, but we objected then to the expansion of presidential power. That must have been they were objecting to under George W. Bush.
Right.
Right, sure. Yeah.
Right. I don't remember that either.
Okay.
So now, and by the way, of course, they come up with a list of like all these different so-called czars, and they say the problem is, you see, these people didn't need congressional approval, and it's an usurping of power, et cetera, et cetera.
Did Bushes need congressional approval?
No. So some of the guys on the list actually got approved by Congress, of course, right? Some of them are actually State Department workers that these guys put the czar label on,
right?
Or one like newspaper article called them a czar.
And so
they're not technically called czars of anything.
Right.
Okay. They're just very normal deputy secretary of state, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Somebody. Right. He was like the undersecretary of state for Latin American affairs, and the New York Times referred to him as the Latin American czar.
Boom. They're like, aha, he's a czar. Czar. No, he's a normal guy who gets employed. And yes, and finally, the guys that are so-called czars, and actually the drug czar is technically not, of course, his technical title is not drug czar.
I would like to also point something else out, just in case people are confused. None of these people are actual czars.
That's the funniest part of it all. Like, it's not like in the old Russia where they come in, they're like, oh, that's a czar, you better do what he says, otherwise he's going to hang you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're not the ruling family of Russia of pre-revolutionary Russia in any way.
The drug czar's real title, of course, is White House Office of National Drug Control Policy. Okay, they head that, the head of the White House Council, etc. Now, and then the remaining czars are almost the same exact czars that George W. Bush had. So this just, again, 100% made out of whole cloth.
Yeah,
okay?
it's just they found times when, because it's a fun name to say. It's like it's like sticking gate on.
Like Watergate,
Yeah,
Monica
right,
Gate,
right.
etc. No, but here's the one last great, awesome irony to this. So they say, like the czars under the Soviet Union.
Oh, nice. Who says that?
I've now seen it on a couple of different clips.
All right.
Okay. Here's the problem. The Soviet Union defeated the Russian czars.
The whole point of the Soviet Union was to defeat the czars.
So
When they became the Soviet Union, it was because they defeated Tsarist Russia.
well, I hate to bring up facts to conservatives. It's really, I must hurt their head.
Lenin and Stalin killed the czars.
Put some thought behind it. All right, and look, here's the thing. When it's the goofy Fox News and goofy conservative blogs and stuff, it's one thing, right? And the Orly Tights of the world, etc. But when you got 100 Republican congressmen signed on to this thing, okay, and you got Bob Bennett, senator from Utah, making noise about it in the Senate, and pretending that, like this is the first time he's ever heard of a czar, and he can't believe that Obama's doing this. Now, how do you negotiate with those guys in good faith? How do you have a dialogue with those guys? How do you reach out to those guys? Those guys have no interest in reaching out to you. They have an interest in smearing you and spreading lies about you to try to destroy your administration.